Hey there, nerds. Jimmy Palmquist here, and I just did a review of Action Comics after the rebirth, and now I'm going to move on to Superman. I've not been a huge fan of Superman. I like individual stories. I like him on the Justice League. Just for some reason, they can't get him to be engaging in a lot of the comic books, and I think that's also indicative of the movies. Like the first movie that came out with Christopher Reeve, great. Second one, okay. Really in between. They were not awesome. I enjoyed Man of Steel, but it did have some problems. And I think we get to see that in the comic books too, where it's hard to write a story about Superman. That being said, I love what they're doing with him since the rebirth. And we are seeing that the Superman of the New 52 is dead. And we have the Superman from the old timeline with his wife, Lois Lane, and his child, John, are in this current timeline, the New 52 timeline. And with the Superman dead, he feels a need to take his place. But that's a lot of that happens over in Action Comics where he doesn't want Lex Luthor representing the S symbol, the Superman. So in this one, we get to see a little bit of what we saw in Justice League in that they're really trying him out. And they're not familiar with this Superman, and they don't know whether to trust him or not. And that's just a quick scene, but it's intriguing to get that sense that, wow, Superman's always good, but nobody knows this Superman. So that's very interesting to me. In the Superman comic versus the Action Comics, we get to see a lot of family relationships. And I love how we're getting to see Superman, Clark Kent, sort of develop this relationship with his son and teach his son how to use his burgeoning powers, which is fascinating because there's a tough story where little Jonathan learns, as after being told not to use his powers, and he does to try and save the family pet, and it goes awry, and he feels horribly guilty. And these are just the life lessons that obviously a little boy with superpowers are going to have to learn, and he's distraught. But at least in this case, unlike Clark growing up, Jonathan has a role model and somebody to look up to and somebody to explain the process and talk to him about it. And we see that a little bit. So I really enjoy where they're going with this. I think it's a fascinating story. And we see Lois Lane thrown into this mother-wife role, which is very cool, in a different way because she's she's complicit, I guess you could say, in that they don't know why they're in this universe. They don't know how they got in this universe, and they need to work it out. And they're working together on it. Now, that being said, there are a lot of things she doesn't agree with Clark doing. And again, this was more in the Action Comics where he went off and fought Doomsday, and she wanted him to leave it alone because she knows what happens when he fought Doomsday. But as far as Superman goes, I just think it's a good book. I think it's fun. I highly recommend you check it out. I hate to admit this. I can't think of the last time Superman was this interesting. But again, I'm not the one that's been keeping up on Superman, so I don't know. But this one I really find fascinating. Check it out. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Really enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.